Hello everybody, I am Ivan Chai. So I'm one of the co-founders of I Quadrant, and today we'll be talking about this project, Kentridge Hill Residence. Okay, so nowadays, right, we're going to do some changes to the format whereby we're going to do like lunchtime talks, like tea time talk, and like to get everyone interacting to see like what's the best times that everyone can make it to watch this and find out more. Okay, so before I start about this Kentridge Hill Residence, right, the usual disclaimers are please make sure you do your own due diligence before you buy any projects, okay? So let's start and talk a bit about Kentridge Hill Residence, okay? So the one thing is, right, Kentridge Hill Residence, right, is actually near this place near Buona Vista, and I think it's actually on this hill called Kentridge. That's why it's so obviously named Kentridge Hill Residence. And it's actually going to be surrounded by greenery. And let's take a look about that. What are the specifications regarding this project? So this project is actually in the District 5, a 99 years leasehold project. There's 500 over units in this project. This means that it's a pretty sizable project. Hence, right, it actually pretty much makes sense because as much as possible, we advocate not to buy into projects that are way too small because of the lack of facilities, and like maintenance fees will be likely higher. And at the same time, right, for smaller projects, you will start to see lesser transactions as compared to a bigger project. So the expected TOP date is actually 2024. So that's about 3 years from now. One good thing about this project is that it's 700 meters to Pasir Panjang MRT. So we did look into this project. I realized that it's actually walkable, like it's 700 meters. It's not exactly the nearest, but it's definitely walkable. So this project is actually by Oxley. So we are going to be talking more about this developer right later, but these are the main characteristics regarding this project. So let's understand what's happening over here in this project. So as of yesterday or as of today, what's happening is that this project, in terms of one bedroom, right, it has 0 one bedroom available. So it's like fully sold. So, and when you look at 2 bedroom, right, only 11% of the 2 bedrooms are left. In other words, right, what you can see is that the main buyers into this project are likely the investors, because it's quite unlikely that a family with a kid or like with 2 children will stay in the 1 bedroom. And when we are looking at 2 bedrooms being able to sell so well, it's likely investors. So as we start to look at the 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, and 5 bedroom, right, these are likely homeowners. Because why do we say this? You see, if you are trying to rent out a project, right, the maximum occupancy in the condo unit is actually 6 persons. So if you buy a 5 bedroom and try to rent it out, you can only have 6 people staying in it, and this means that most of the room will only have 1 pax staying in it. In other words, it does not make sense to sort of like buy a 5 bedroom or even the 4 bedroom to try to rent out. So in other words, right, the 4 and 5 bedroom are likely for homeowners. And in terms of homeowners, right, you can see that the availability is still like 75% for 4 bedroom, and like for the 5 bedroom, still 63%. In other words, the homeowners are not really biting. So the homeowners are not really buying into this project. Okay, so when we look at the product mix, the unit mix into this project, right, what you can see is that when you look at the 1 and 2 bedroom, it comprises of about 69% of the whole project. In other words, right, more or less this project is built for investors. And in terms of really the ones that is going to be staying over here, right, it's actually much on a lower basis. So that's one thing we need to note. So this is more of an investor-centric kind of project. Okay, so the criteria number 1 that we want to look at when analyzing a project is definitely, is there going to be growth like that is going to be helping or boosting this project? So let's take a deep dive, right, to see like what are the factors, right, that can help this project, like so that you can have potential capital appreciation. And one thing we want to know, right, is that when we talk about Kentridge Hill Residence, there is going to be like NUS nearby, and there's going to be One North. So this business park is actually One North. So the One North area like has a lot of job creation. You can see like Shopee over there. You can see like Grab coming up. The Grab building is coming up. So and like Resale over there. So in other words, right, there's going to be like more and more job creation in this area. But the thing is, other than just Kentridge Hill, right, there are actually other projects that is going to be coming up in this area. So in the section later, right, we're going to do a deep dive, right, to see how all these other new launches are going to affect this Kentridge Hill residence. Okay, So Dover, right? What's happening over here in Dover is that there's going to be a Dover Knowledge District. So Dover Knowledge District, right? There's going to be a creation of more jobs. It's an extension of One North. So do note that in the future to come, there's going to be even more job creation in this area. But having said this, right, Dover Dover is actually quite a distance away from this Kent Ridge Hill residence. So when we talk about impact, the impact or the creation in the number of tenants, right, may come on the lower side, maybe on the lower side. So there's going to be like more residential properties, right, that's going to be developed in this area, but it's still quite a bit of distance away from Kent Ridge Hill. So there's not so much of a synergy in this area, okay? So another factor that is going to affect like Kent Ridge Hill to the south, right, is actually the Greater Southern Waterfront. Okay, so this is definitely the moving out of our PSA to all the way to Tuas, and this whole area is going to be redeveloped into housing and potentially like commercial buildings. And so in other words, right, there's going to be a lot more housing units over here. My take is that there may be some potential spillover effects to Kent Ridge Hill, but the thing is, it's not like right next door to Greater Southern Waterfront. And on top of that, Greater Southern Waterfront is a project that's going to happen sort of like way later. So I won't really take into account this Greater Southern Waterfront. So in terms of timeline and what we see will happen, right, is definitely the ongoing in the next like 3-4 years the job creation or the tenant demand or even the homestayers that wants to move to this area to stay, right, it will come from One North, which is good, which means that there's got to be like more job creation. And Dover Knowledge District is going to happen, but it's going to be taking some years down the road. In Greater Southern Waterfront, right, to be frank, I wouldn't really take it into consideration. It's still going to be some distance away. And there's going to be Resale land that's like zoned in the same area, but that will take some time also because it's going to be it's still subject to detailed planning. So what I want to bring to you, everyone, right, is that there's this thing called URA master plan. So the last master plan was in 2019, and under this 2019 master plan, right, the area that is near this Kent Ridge Hill residence, right, is still zoned subject to planning. It means that it's likely that in the next 5 years, right, in the 5 years from 2019, nothing much is going to happen in those plots of residential land that is zoned under subject to detailed planning. In other words, anything that will potentially happen will be from 2024 and onwards. So it's going to take some time. Okay, so we understand now that the clear demand will likely come from One North. Let's take a look at what are the potential demand creators, right, that's going to affect this project. Like, what are the things, right, that's going to bring on more people to come to this area? And one thing that we want to look at is actually connectivity. Okay, so you can't really see from the screen over there, but let me draw this out. There is this there's this expressway that's going to be connected. So there's going to be improved accessibility to AYE. So in a few years' time, right, what's going to happen, right, with this improved connectivity, residents staying in Kent Ridge Hill, right, will have an easy access to AYE, better connectivity. So like for those who drive, right, it's actually better. And for those that it's going to be like taking the MRT, it's 700 meters away. So it's not too bad in terms of like improved connectivity to for those that drive. And another thing we want to note is that for families that's going to be staying here, is there any like primary schools in this area? Do note that we don't look at secondary schools because obviously for children that hits the secondary school age, right, they will likely be traveling to school themselves. Okay, so we are looking specifically, right, we need 1 kilometer and 2 kilometer radius, right? Are there any good schools around? So from here, right, what you can see is that there is none. So this means that it will not attract families, right, with very young children. And what will happen? It will be more suitable for the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. Will be suitable for the adults that's going to be working in the One North area. If you're talking about 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom, it will be for families, right, with older children. So in this sense, right, this project is not so young children friendly. Okay, one thing we want to note, right, in terms of demand drivers, right, or demand creators, right, it's also like the developer track record. Because if the developer have a poor track record, right, then it may be on the riskier side to buy a project. But over here, right, this is actually by Oxley, and you can see that they have done many projects. So Oxley is a developer, right, that we do not see complaints online. We don't see complaints about their project online. So more or less, right, they should be fine. Okay, so they are still okay on this side. Okay, guys, so these are the factors, right, that we have talked about. Like one thing regarding growth, and the other thing is regarding this demand creators, demand factors. So guys, if you're learning something so far from this video, right, do remember to give us a like or a thumbs up, so that we know, okay, and to support us, okay. So next thing we want to talk about, right, is actually the new launch comparison, okay? So one thing that we want to see, right, is that after we look at the growth factors and after we have looked at the demand creators, right, demand drivers, one thing we want to see is this project competitive to the other new launches in this area? And when we look at this whole surrounding, right, what we start to see is that there's going to be Normanton Park. So Normanton Park, right, is a 1,862 units project that's going to complete in the year 2023. So it's going to be completing roughly about 1 year earlier than Kent Ridge Hill Residence. So do take note of that. So there's a project coming online, right, that's going to be like completing first, and it's going to be a mega project. Okay. So other areas that we want to look at that is close to Kent Ridge Hill, right, it's actually this area which are a lot of freehold projects, which is Harbourview Gardens, the Veranda Residence, and these are freehold projects. So we'll talk a bit about this, the comparison, so that we can see what's happening over here. So to the north of this Kent Ridge Hill Residence is the one Holland area. You can see that there's a lot of projects over here that's like under in the new launch phase. But Holland will sort of like be a different sector as compared to this Kent Ridge Hill Residence, because I think Kent Ridge Hill Residence, right, for those that are staying here, are mainly going either to the city, the CBD area, or going towards the north, which is the One North area. So it's not really the same catchment pool in terms of like tenants and people that want to stay there. Okay. Also to this area, right, there's to the east, right, you can start to see like Margaretville, Sterling Residence, that's going to be happening soon. And what you see is that these are also projects that can be considered. So when we look at all these projects in comparison, right, what we see is that the most comparable is definitely Normanton Park and Kent Ridge Hill. So let's start to take a look at the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom. For 1-bedroom, Kent Ridge Hill is already like fully sold, so there's nothing much to talk about. But let's take a look, right, at the 2-bedroom and 2-bathroom. So when we look at the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, right, when Kent Ridge Hill was launched, the 2-bedroom is average about 1.23 million at 743 square feet and 1,651 per square feet. So after like 2 years, 1 plus 2 years has passed, right? What you realize is that the price on the per square feet basis has went up. So it is now about 7% difference, roughly around 7% difference. So the prices has already gone up. So when this price goes up, will we be buying at too high a price when we go in now as compared to those that have like bought previously? That is one factor to consider. But the even more important thing to look at, right, is the competitor. Okay, the competitor across project. Okay, which is Normanton Park. So when we look at Normanton Park, right, because it's just launched like recently, right, what you realize is that their quantum that's currently selling, and the per square feet, right, is not too much of a difference. So when we look at what's available now versus what's actually at Kent Ridge Hill right now, I would say that Normanton Park, right, as compared to Kent Ridge Hill, have a better advantage in the sense that it's actually nearer to the One North area. So for those people that is actually, for the tenants, right, that's going to be staying in the 2-bed, 2-bath, for them to go to work, it's actually more convenient, even though Normanton Park is further from MRT. And when we look at the quantum-wise, for 2-bed, 2-bath at 1.3 million versus 1.42 million, right, I would say that in the current space, Normanton Park will present better value. But do note that we still need to look at the resale. Don't just base this consideration just purely on the new versus new. So later we'll come to that, but let's take a look at the 3-bedroom first. When we take a look at the 3-bedroom in this Kent Ridge Hill and Normanton Park, right, what you realize is that Kent Ridge Hill's price has also gone up for about 7%. So in other words, right, the pricing keeps going up as the developer sells nearer to completion, okay? And what you can see is that on a per square feet basis, Normanton Park is lower. And again, in terms of quantum, Normanton Park is lower. So when I compare this side by side, right, I would say that because of the lower quantum in Normanton Park and the lower per square feet in Normanton Park, when Normanton Park will present better value than Kent Ridge Hill, purely based on a quantum and per square feet basis. Next up, when we look at the 4-bedroom, right, what you realize is that Kent Ridge Hill is just only have a penthouse available. From what I see, the Kent Ridge Hill only have penthouse available. That means it's there's got to be level 2 and level 1. And Normanton Park is like one flat piece. So it's got a normal 4-bedroom, 1-floor unit. So my take is that if I'm a homeowner, I'd rather stay in one flat piece of land, one flat piece of apartment, so that I don't have to climb stairs or like go down the stairs. But of course, there will be people, right, that prefer like this view of like going up the stairs and down the stairs. But by the way, as we start to have more elderly folks at home, climbing up and down the stairs may be dangerous. So I don't know. I don't really recommend. Okay. So when you look at the quantum basis, Kent Ridge Hill is 2.66 million versus Normanton Park at 2.27. So one thing that we always talk about, right, is actually about total debt servicing ratio, TDSR. So think about it. For if you to qualify for the 75% loan for 2.66 million versus a 75% loan for 2.23 million, right? You will have a bigger buyer pool, right, for Normanton Park next time when you are trying to sell. So in other words, right, in terms of quantum, I would prefer Normanton Park, and in terms of like the flat space, that is the same thing, Okay, but what is it like that is like going for Kent Ridge Hill? Like even though like Kent Ridge Hill have like higher pricing, one thing to note is that Kent Ridge Hill is actually built sort of like with a hill nearby and like with the sea on the other side. So what you can say is that if you are someone that must have the mountain behind you and with the sea in front of you for good feng shui, or you really like the secluded area whereby you have forest access, a lot of nature, right, then maybe Kent Ridge Hill is for you. So that is like one thing that you want to take note for, because sometimes money cannot buy the peacefulness and serenity in the area. But me being more of like a value for money kind of guy, right, I would rather go for a lower quantum and lower per square feet. Okay, so let's take a look at the resale comparison. When we are looking at the resale, right, what we realize is that Kent Ridge Hill is like surrounded by other two freehold projects, Viva Vista and Bijo. Okay, Bijo is very interesting because it's like almost like 75 meters to Pasir Panjang MRT. So you walk a few steps, maybe not a few, maybe like 50 to 100 steps, you will reach the MRT itself. Okay, so but for Viva Vista, right, it's also pretty near. It's 900 meters. It's actually further, but still barely walkable. Okay, but these two projects are freehold, and the other project that we want to compare, right, it's actually interlaced. So these are projects more to the south and to the more central part of Singapore. Interlaced more central part. So interlaced, right, it's not that near Kent Ridge Hill, but in this whole area, if you're talking about resale projects that is like on the newer, interlaced will come into mind. Okay, so when we do the comparison, right, what we can see is that Viva Vista, right, is $0.9 million quantum in terms of 2-bed 2-bath, and the per square feet is actually 1,165. So in terms of like per square feet comparison and quantum comparison, right, Viva Vista is actually very competitive. But one thing to note is that Viva Vista is more or less a mixed development in the sense that on the ground floor there's a lot of commercial units, and the commercial units are not doing that fantastic. So I would say that it won't be thriving. Okay, so one thing to note is that when we are trying to buy into a resale project, like whether new launch or resale with a commercial element on the ground floor, right? One thing that is good, right, is that the commercial part is centrally managed, okay? Centrally managed, whereby this main landlord, right, come in and set the theme for the whole place. Like, for example, they want to have a supermarket over here, they want to have a locksmith over here, they want to have a F&B over here. So everything, right, has a certain theme and like set the whole context of why people want to visit this place. There's going to be like, for example, if you look at Bugis Junction, right, it's like more for younger folks. If you go to Paragon, it's more for luxury. But what if you go to like malls without any theme, whereby you have a lot of different tenants inside, then it loses its purpose. People won't go there for itself. So one thing to note, right, is that the commercial units are not so attractive in Buona Vista, and hence it will affect the residential component too. So Bijou, right, is actually very near the MRT, but the thing is, the per square feet is no joke. It's like 2,000 plus per square feet in this West Coast area. Okay, Pasir Panjang area. So my take is that if I'm paying this price 2,000 plus, right, I can go way closer to the city. So this is one thing to note. Okay, so the last project that we want to look at, right, is actually Interlace. So Interlace, right, the quantum is actually 1.14 versus Kenridge 1.42. So when we look at these two, right, I would say that Interlace have a better quantum in terms of affordability. And when we look at the per square feet, right, it's almost a $371 difference. So $300 over per square feet difference. This is about 20+%. So a 20+% difference, right, between a project that is like 2009 versus 2014 is still pretty okay. So in other words, right, when you're considering to buy either Kenridge Hill, it's also worth taking a look at Interlace over here for the 2-bedroom. So when we look at the 3-bedroom, right, what you can see is that Bijou, right, the units are duplex. So once again, like with duplex units, right, there's got to be a staircase, so there's got to be wasted space. So I'm not so keen on looking into projects with this kind of characteristics. But when we look at the Interlace versus Kenridge, right, the quantum is actually almost similar. Okay, 1.71 versus 1.77. And in terms of size, okay, Interlace is like way bigger with a way lower per square feet. So once again, if you're looking at a 3-bedroom, if you don't mind something that is actually older, like 12 years old, like Interlace is 2009 till now it's 2021, I will also take a look at Interlace for the 3-bedroom. And when we look at the 4-bedroom, only for Kenridge Hill is penthouse. So penthouse will have the wasted space with all the staircase once again. And whereas Interlace is one flat piece. And one thing to see, right, is that Interlace has 2,000 over square feet for a 4-bedroom. I think to find such a big unit, right, in this area is not easy. So in a way, right, like this project actually presents a unique opportunity. What do I mean? You see, there will be families that want to stay in the bigger unit, okay, and they can afford it. And because of this, right, this becomes like a rare piece of property that is available, and hence it presents a good opportunity. Okay. So we have looked at the new launch versus new, we have looked at the new versus resale. The next thing that we want to talk about, right, is actually the exit strategy. Because when we are talking about buying properties, right, we always want to have the exit in mind. Because when we buy, we want to know, are we able to sell it to someone else in the future? And when we do this, right, we put this in terms of 3 factors. One is the homeowners, home investor or investors. So when we look at homeowners, right, basically homeowners will want to buy properties based on happiness, what brings joy, because money cannot buy happiness. So money is not so critical, happiness is important. And on the other spectrum, right, we actually have investors. Investors are looking out for rental. They want to collect passive income, and they also want the capital appreciation. And there's one category, right, that we want to strive to achieve, right, which is if you're buying a property for homestay, instead of just being purely a homeowner, right, we want to see properties that have potential capital appreciation at the same time. Because when capital appreciation exceeds the interest that we are paying, right, on the property itself, there's a good chance that we can stay in the property for free. So that is like one thing that we want to look out for when we are buying a property. So when we talk about Kenridge Hill residence, I would say that this place, right, it's actually very, very suitable for homeowners, okay? Because why? There's going to be like a mountain behind, like forest, a lot of like nature for you to go to, and there's also going to be like sea to the south of this place. So, and in terms of like rentability, one thing we want to see is that the thing is, Normanton Park is going to TOP, or it's going to complete in the year 2023 with 1,800 over units. Okay, think about it. There's going to be 1,800 units worth of supply in this area, and when it comes online, tenants are going to be moving in. And the thing is, what if the whole place doesn't fill up? So what if like only 900 unit fills up, and then Kent Ridge Hill TOPs? Okay, so imagine this. When Kent Ridge Hill TOPs, right, there's going to be a lot of renovation going on because like homeowners are going to be moving in, they'll be putting in curtains, putting in some cabinets and stuff, right, and like fixing the lights. And what's going to happen, right, is that there'll be a lot of drilling. There'll be then so as you're moving in, there's going to be a lot of works that's happening. But as a tenant, the tenant will start to compare both projects, like Normanton Park. Oh, everything is completed 1 year ago. The minor renovations and touch-up has been done 1 year ago. Now, if I want to move in, there's still available units versus a brand new project with a lot of renovation works going on. So the tenant will start to choose which one they will rather take. So in other words, right, it may be on the more like it will be harder it will be harder to find a tenant if Normanton Park don't fill up. So the main thing is we hope that Normanton Park fills up very fast. And the one key thing is this. We want to also see, right, we talk about Normanton Park filling up. Okay, so when Normanton Park fills up, then Kent Ridge Hill's tenants will fill up. So one ultimate thing is that when you're buying Kent Ridge Hill, it'd be good to be looking at it only purely as a homestay, so that you can stay in the 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 4-bedroom. Because on the first 2 years, right, it may be harder to rent. So one potential strategy is that if you're buying this project, move in and stay 1-2 years. Afterwards, right, when the whole area has stabilized, then you can move to another place and find a tenant for it. Okay, so guys, I hope you have learned something from this video today. Do remember to give us a thumbs up or like, right? And also, right, subscribe to our channel because we are going to be doing a lot more videos. And by the way, since we have talked a lot about Normanton Park, right? Do remember to catch our Normanton Park video that is available. So over there, right, we talk and explain a lot about Normanton Park, and we explain, right, the things that we look at, and also to the One North area, there's one more project that's worth like looking at or worth considering, and that is One North Eden. Okay, so do look into that project too, because there will be interesting things that you can pick up from that video too. Okay, so once again, I'm Ivan Chai. I hope that you have learned something from today's session, right? And I'll see you next week. Okay, see you guys. Bye.